Listen carefully. The truth is closer than you think. This is TeenMirror. Archive entry. Oscar, age 17. The first message I never sent didn't ruin my life. At first, it just confused people. Then it confused me. And by the time I understood what was happening, someone else had already started becoming me. I've always been careful with how I come across. Not fake, just aware. I knew how to talk to different people. Teachers liked me. Friends trusted me. I could joke around without making things awkward. A lot of social life is just maintenance. Replying at the right time. Saying the right things in group chats. Knowing when to be serious and when to act like nothing matters. I was good at that. Not popular enough to be watched all the time. Just sociably stable. The kind of person people already thought they understood. And maybe that was why the fake account worked so well. Because nobody had to imagine a version of me. They already had one in their head. All someone had to do was step into it. The first sign was so small I nearly brushed it off. A girl from my maths class came up to me before registration and said, "You're weird, you know that?" Not smiling, not angry either, just uncomfortable. I laughed because I thought she was joking. She didn't laugh back. Then she walked away. At lunch, one of my friends asked why I'd messaged his cousin the night before. I told him I hadn't. He looked at me for a second too long, and he showed me his phone. There it was, a profile with my name, my photo, even my old football team picture as the display image. The message underneath said, "You seem different lately, in a good way." It sounded close enough to something I might say, that for half a second, even I felt weird reading it. That was the worst part. It wasn't obviously fake. It was me, adjusted slightly, like someone had studied how I spoke and removed just enough hesitation. At first, I thought I could solve it quickly. Report the account, tell people it wasn't me, move on. But that only works when the damage hasn't already started spreading. By the end of that day, 3 more people had screenshots. Different messages, different tones. Some flirtatious, others too personal. Some just strange enough to make people uneasy. Nothing dramatic or extreme, just off. That made it harder to defend. Because if the messages had been ridiculous, everyone would have known immediately. But these sounded possible. That's what made them dangerous. Someone wasn't trying to make me look insane. They were trying to make me look believable. I posted on my story saying the account was fake. A few people replied with "mad" and "that's creepy," but others didn't answer at all. And silence is never neutral at school. Silence usually means people are waiting to see which version of the truth survives. The account kept going. It followed people I knew, liked old photos, sent DMs late at night. Somebody even used it to apologise to a girl I'd argued with months earlier. That's when I realised this wasn't random. Whoever was behind it knew enough about my life to sound almost convincing. I started checking my phone constantly, not just for messages, for shifts. Who was replying slower? Who had stopped joking normally? Who looked at me in corridors, like they were comparing me to something they'd already read? It felt like my reputation was being edited in real time, and I was seeing the updates too late. The worst part happened on a Thursday night. A friend sent me a screenshot with no caption, just the image. The fake account had messaged one of the girls in our year. "Don't act like you don't know what you're doing. You liked the attention before." I stared at it for a long time, because that one crossed the line. Not awkward, not weird, cruel. And the replies underneath were worse. She had answered, What is wrong with you? I called her straight away. She didn't pick up. That scared me more than if she'd shouted, because by then I could feel something changing around me. Not one big collapse, just several small fractures happening at once. Trust is strange like that. It doesn't explode, it thins out. The next day at school, people were polite. Too polite. That careful distance people use when they don't want to commit to trusting you. I kept trying to explain. It wasn't me. That account's fake, I swear. But once your name gets attached to enough screenshots, denial starts sounding repetitive, and repetitive denial starts sounding guilty. I went home that afternoon and did the only thing I could think to do. I made my own fake account. Not to impersonate anyone, to watch. I followed the fake profile from a blank page and waited. That night, just after 11, it posted to its story. Black screen, white text. People believe what fits. That was when it stopped feeling like a prank. It felt personal, calculated. Whoever it was didn't just want attention. They wanted to prove something. That identity wasn't yours if other people could be persuaded out of it. The account was eventually removed, or maybe the person behind it got bored. There was no reveal, no apology, no big confrontation in a corridor where everything finally made sense. Just disappearance. But that wasn't the end of it. Because once people have imagined the worst version of you, it doesn't fully vanish when the screen goes blank. Some friendships recovered, others didn't. A few people acted normal again, but with a delay in them. Like trust now had to travel further before it reached me. And I changed too. For weeks I over-explained everything, reread my own messages before sending them, checked how jokes might sound in screenshots, measured my tone like it could be used against me later. That's what no one tells you about being impersonated. The real damage isn't only that someone pretended to be you, it's that afterwards you start performing yourself more carefully just to prove you still are. I still think about that story post sometimes. People believe what fits. At the time I hated it because it sounded true. Now I hate it because it was true. Not completely, but enough. Enough to make people hesitate. Enough to make me question how much of identity actually belongs to the person living it. Because if someone can copy your face, your tone, your timing, and other people don't notice straight away, then maybe trust was never just about who you are. Maybe it was also about how easily you can be rewritten. Some stories don't end when the moment is over. Sometimes they stay with you. If this one felt familiar, you're not the only one. There are more reflections waiting. This is TeenMirror.